there, guys and gals. Welcome back to the channel. So I've spent a few days on Humanitz. It has a lot of potential, guys. There are some changes that I think the game needs, but the devs, they've also done some really cool stuff. And the game, it just has so much potential, and I'm really looking forward to when it does come out, if they make certain changes. All of the things I'm going to talk about, guys, it's all my opinion. On what the game needs. Some of you may disagree with that. That's fine, but this is just my review, and I'm going to throw it out, and I'm going to see what you guys think about it, and hopefully maybe the devs could have a look as well, and we can get a bit of discussion going, because I don't want this game to kind of fall away, because it could add a really cool game to the genre. So we're going to start off just kind of going over the UI issues. I don't know about you guys, but for me, um, a lot of games will come down to having at least a decent UI. Like, I don't care how fun a game is to actually play. If the UI is terrible or just weird to use and completely different to what we're kind of used to, it's going to throw me off so much that I would probably stop playing the game. And that might seem like weird to some of you guys, but that's just how I am. If the UI is throwing me off so much that it's making me have to like overthink what I'm doing while playing, then it's kind of a no from me. I'll play it for a little bit, but I'm eventually just going to stop because of the UI. All right, guys. So let's start off with a couple of things in the UI. So the first thing I noticed is the camera. The camera movement I'm not a fan of at all. So you can rotate the camera with Q and E, but it's not like a smooth transition. It's as if they have it on like a, what would it be, like a 90-degree turn. So every time you tap it, it'll turn 90 degrees or something like that. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it feels like maybe 90 or maybe a little bit less. Um, One thing that I would like way prefer is if it was, even if you kept it at Q and E, but you just hold it and it would just spin and you could turn the camera easily. What I would honestly prefer would be to have it mapped to the middle mouse button. So like as you're running around, you can hold down the middle mouse button, and you can just rotate the camera that way. I think that's such a better way of making the camera work in top-down games, and the way they have it right now, it's actually something that turns me off the game. I'm not a fan of the view and the way the camera works. So number two is just looting and the way stuff works in your inventory. I don't think a top-down game like this should have like F to loot something. It should be kind of like Diablo, where your mouse clicks the item on the ground and your guy picks it up. Like, that is how it should be, I think. I don't see why they have to have an interact button to pick stuff up. That's fine if you want to have it for the door. Even doors, though, I think should be just clickable and they'll open the door. Or you can right click and like a menu will drop down, like to whether you can lock doors or whatever. I don't know if you can do that later. But that's just something that's really big as well. Like being able to like just loot stuff with a click of your mouse instead of having to go up to an item and hit F. It just feels weird in a top down game. That's something I really think they should change, is just being able to loot with your mouse instead of having to go up and hit F on everything. Another thing with the inventory, say if you're searching like a car or whatever, and you find like a helmet, or you find a shirt or anything like that, you can't equip the shirt, or like food. You can't eat the food from the search menu. You have to close the search menu, open your tab menu, and then you can use it and equip it and whatever. So that's a quality of life thing. Like, you shouldn't have to be closing down menus to open up another menu to use something when the item is just, it's right there in the search menu. That's a big one for me, to be honest. It seems small, but the more you search and the more you're like, oh yeah, I can use that. Especially if your bag is full and you're just like, yeah, I'll just eat that now so that I don't use the food in my bag. No, you have to literally tab out, use the food in your bag, go back into the search, and then loot the food from the search bar. It makes no sense why it works like that. All right, so another thing to do with like the UI is having to select your tool twice. So maybe I'm doing this wrong, but what happens to me is, if I say I have an axe and a gun on my. So I have an axe on one, I have my gun on two. So, and I have my gun out. If I want to draw my axe, I hit one. That doesn't draw my axe. That puts away my gun. So now I have to hit one again to draw my axe. Instead of, like in most games, if they want that sort of a system, like if you have your gun out and it's on two, if you hit two again, yeah, that puts away your gun, and then you are, you've no weapon out at all. You have fists, and that's what I think it should be in this, because having the whole point of having one, two, three, four is a quick bar. But if you have to push two, like two or three times to get the weapon out that you want out, like it's not really that quick anymore, is it? Yeah, it makes no sense. Like I don't know why it's like that. It shouldn't swap to your fists every time you swap out of a weapon. Like if you have it on one, when you push one, it should come out. It shouldn't go to fists and then you have to push one again to get it to come out. So there are two more things here to do with UI that I want to talk about. One thing they did really well, and I love when games do this. Not many games do it, but when they do, I love it. When you aim with a gun, you zoom out, so you have way bigger like view. I love when games do that, and they've done that with this game, and it's beautiful. I love it very much. Don't change it. Keep that as is. It's beautiful. All right, so this next part, I don't know if this was just being a bit buggy for me, or it I don't know. The bags just they didn't want to swap. So I found a military bag, and I wanted to swap out of my normal bag and take my military bag. It literally should be just an option of walking up to the military bag and saying pick up. Like even if you have to drop your other bag on the ground and loot all the stuff out of it, that's fine. But as you're seeing in the clip right now, I tried that. I tried hitting that. I even dropped my bag on the ground. I picked up my military bag, and then I couldn't transfer the items out. I had to keep tabbing in and out of my menu before it would work right. So there's something not working right there, and I don't know. It just seems a bit buggy. So fixing that would be cool, but yeah, it did work for me in the end, but it just seemed so buggy. All right, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit about the actual gameplay now, and about the combat. The actual things that are going to keep you involved in the game. So there's a couple of things straight off the bat that I am not a fan of. After all I play are survival games. Nearly, I play a ton of zombie games, so I kind of have a set thing of like a checklist of what I kind of think zombies should do and what they shouldn't do. So number one is, from what I've seen in game, zombies don't hear you at all. They can see you from a distance, and whatever arc or whatever view system they have set up, I'm not sure. But it seems like zombies do not hear you at all. There have been multiple times where I have killed a zombie on the other side of a wall, knowing there's another zombie outside that wall, because I can see him, and the zombie outside the wall does not react in any way. Um, I think every other game I've ever played, that zombie would have heard me and came to investigate. So that's one thing I think has to be changed. Zombies should hear you, and if you make too much noise, they should be coming for you. They do hear gunshots. That's something they do hear. They do hear gunshots, but when you're killing a zombie with an axe or whatever, it seems like they just don't hear you or don't react to you. I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like to me. Number two, now this one will be a bit of conflict, I'd say, because a lot of people will like this and other people won't like it, which I'm on the side of. I'm not a fan of it. Um, at least I would have this a setting in the game that people could turn it on and off themselves. When I play zombie games, I think of The Walking Dead, where there are way more zombies. So the game at the moment doesn't have like big hordes of zombies and stuff like in Project Zombied. I think they should focus more on adding more zombies to the map and removing running zombies. I am not a fan of running zombies. The only game I actually play that has running zombies is 7 Days, and even at that, it's only on horde nights. It's only at nighttime when they run. So I have plenty of other stuff to do if I don't want to be outside dealing with them. I don't think zombies running in games works that well, in my opinion. Sure, it makes it harder, but I also think that zombies walking in massive hordes, like in Project Zombied, make the game hard, like as hard, if not harder, than running zombies, than the occasional running zombie. You know, so that's something I really wish they had a setting for, at least that you could turn it off. But I do think the horde size needs to be like increased a lot, because you can run through the whole map and only see like maybe 10 zombies, and depending on your patting. Um, I'm sure the devs probably know this one already. The zombies, and not even the zombies, just the player, like the hitboxes in general, they seem a little bit off. It seems like I can swing and hit zombies when I shouldn't really hit them. And it seems like I get hit sometimes when I shouldn't probably get hit, with the range of how far away we are. Um, that's just something to maybe look at. I just think, like, I've only used it, I've only noticed it when I use the axe. The hitboxes just seem to be very big, that you can hit them without actually being on top of them and hitting them. All right, so the biggest thing that I've noticed, probably the biggest like game breaking mechanic, and I'm sure the devs probably know this already. Like they'd have to know about this already. Is the like survivor AIs, like the bandit ones. I don't know if you can call them bandits, but they have like a camp in the middle of the town somewhere, in the middle of the map somewhere. I don't even know where it is. I found it a few times just randomly. um, their AI is really bad. Um, as you're going to see in clips that I'm showing right now. The very first time I found the camp, I heard shooting, came to investigate, and I was inside their camp before I even knew they were there. And then there was one of them were just like running around beside me, like friendly. And I was like, oh, is it just like a friendly camp? Can you talk to them? I even walk up to him and try and talk to him, and like interact with him, and there was no option. And then I run outside the camp, and as I'm running out, the other two are there, and they start firing at me. So we start fighting, and then they start like getting stuck on stuff and bugged out, and I'm able to just kill them because they're bugged out. And I've done that like two or three times now, because I wanted to test it to see, was it something that they always do, or was it just like a once off. But the AI are really really bad, um when it comes to like fighting you. They will shoot you, but then a lot of the time they're going to just get stuck on stuff. They're going to just stand there, and you're able to just sit there and shoot them over and over. They don't even take their gun out to shoot at you, whether they've ran out of ammo or what. But they don't run away to try and get cover or stuff. They just stand there and let you kill them. And I don't know. It just seems really bad. Um, I want, if there's going to be bandits like that on the map, I want the bandits to be able to like two or three shot you. Like you should fear going to their camps. You shouldn't be able to just go into their camps and take all their guns and leave. If you go near their camp, they should be putting bullets at you. Um, and that's how. What game is it that has that? Mist. I think it's Mist has that. If you go anywhere near a bandit camp in Mist, you're getting dropped in like two or three shots. If you're out in the open. So I do think the AI has to have like a serious look at it. I'm sure the devs know about it already. Like if they don't know about it, I don't know. We're looking at two different games. um, but yeah, that's something that really really needs to be fixed. All right, guys. So there's two more things that I just want to go over. They're two minor things. Honestly, look, it's about crafting. I have not gone into the crafting and the building much, so I could be off on this. And maybe it's stuff that is doable down the line. Okay, but from the get go, when you cut down a tree, you get wood and sticks from it, and you also get logs. I did not see an option where if you have your axe out, that you can like hit the logs or interact with the logs to make wood. I think that should be a thing, because if not, you have to chop down like four or five trees just to make a campfire. Or was it a campfire? It was a campfire or the water collector, something like that. It needs like four or five pieces of wood, and you only get like one, maybe two every tree. So you have to cut down multiple trees to get just to make like one little item. I do think there should be an option to cut up the logs for the wood. Now maybe that's something, like I said, that you can do later. I didn't really go into crafting a whole lot, so if I'm wrong on that, pay no attention to that comment at all. All right, and just to go along with the building, one thing I love that they did, because not every game does this, and I really like that they have done it this way, is when you're building something, you don't need to have all of the resources on you, and you're able to place down like the blueprint, and then as you get the materials, because your bag can be full of other stuff you need, and if you don't have storage and all that type of stuff down, it's kind of hard to get building. So I love that you could like put the blueprint down, and then you can go off and get your wood, and then bring the wood to the whatever you're building. Then you can go off and get your stone and put your stone in, and then it'll be built. I love that. I love when games do it. Scum does that, and it's so good. I love when people do that instead of you having to go out and have everything on you that you need to craft. All right, guys. So there are my thoughts on what the game needs at the moment. I don't want you guys thinking that like I'm bashing the devs over and over because they did this wrong and they did this wrong. It's not about that. I think the game has huge potential. The devs have done a great job so far. I think it's just some things that they maybe need to look at and like maybe readjust, or maybe they don't readjust it at all and they just go with what they have. um anyway, for me, guys, I will be keeping a close eye on the development, and if there's anything else you guys think about the game, do throw it down in the comments below. We can get a bit of a discussion going, and yeah, we can see how this game develops in the future. Anyway, guys, that's me for today. I am glad that you guys stuck around till the end of the video. For those of you that did, um, please do throw a like on it. Do throw comments down below. It really helps the video get out there and all the algorithmy and all that stuff. Anyway, guys, that's me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.